Hi, it's Lisa Starr, and this is Natural Time, the YouTube version of my podcast, which you can find on Apple and Spotify during the week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I'm here because it's good to be on video and talk to you directly. I hope you feel that. If you're looking at this video, I'm looking at you, even if it was after I recorded it, because that's what intuitive people can do. You're intuitive, I'm intuitive, so we can meet in some etheric location where the connection actually happens. I believe that. And as you know by now, I just want to talk kind of at beginner level when I'm here on YouTube, because there are beginners who definitely deserve to be able to follow this magnificent calendar, this mysticism that comes from the ancient Maya. We have a way to do it in modern times that makes it easier to understand its complexity. And in this little talk each weekend, I am only focusing on the Tzolk'in calendar, which is the 260-day Mayan sacred count. They also, or we in Natural Time, follow a 13-moon calendar, which is a way of dividing the year, this 365-day year, into months or periods that are not erratically, erratic lengths, arrhythmic lengths, like the Gregorian 12-month calendar is. So if you listen to the podcast, then I talk about where we are in the 13 moon year. And here I just want to keep it simple and go a little deeper into the Tzolk'in count. So a reminder that the Tzolk'in is 260 days because it is 20 sets of 13-day wave spells. A wave spell is any count of 13 from the Maya. They didn't maybe call them wave spells, but it's such a beautiful term. It's one of the kind of modern tics that I fell in love with, that you can imagine time as wave shaped. And I think because when I was little, I've lived along the coast of California my whole life, and it's really cold to swim in Northern California, and you have to be frigid, and then your body slowly numbs, and then you can really enjoy swimming. That I just I think of the wave spells and my experience body surfing as a child, and just how that is a perfect analogy. Like, life is really intense until you acclimate to it, and then it can be less intimidating or traumatizing, or whichever part of the spectrum in between. So I'm talking about the wave spells here, and right now we're in the blue night wave spell, and it's NIGHT, like the night sky, and that's exactly what it's describing or celebrating, is when the sun sets and night descends. And for the ancient Maya or any indigenous person in the before times, it's just incredibly meaningful and entertaining to have a relationship to the night sky. So you can think about blue night as the magnificence and the sense of plenty of all those stars that suddenly would ignite in the night sky. But you can also, and I think even primarily, think about what happens when we humans enter the nighttime, which is that we rest and sleep and dream. And again, in an ancient culture, there was less sedentary activity in each day. So maybe the minute it became dark, it was time to rest. And I feel that, like, in the winter now, I sleep more than in the summer. It's not I don't go to sleep at 5 p.m., but just sort of like it winds down, and my animal body, reacting to lack of sunlight or etc., to colder temperatures, just wants to be more in hibernation. So blue night to me is, and it's described as clearly about not just the magnificent and mysticism of looking at a night sky, but what happens to our psyche when we sleep and dream. And we're in that time right now. I think that, earlier podcasts or another podcast can continue to give you details about what blue night is, or I might think of more here. But I've been talking about it pretty, I've covered it in the weekly regular podcast. So I want to kind of mention how we are moving through the days of the Blue Night podcast. I want to tell people, and if you're new, I'm going to explain this. It's my opposite day. It's called an antipode day. I'm a blue storm. Today is red resonant moon, and it's the 6th day of the Blue Night wave spell. But it's a red moon day is opposite me. Their way opposites are described as like Blue Night is on the left pinky toe, and the right pinky toe is red moon, which is today. And so you were also born on either a finger or toe on the left or right side of your body, and your opposite tribe or day sign is just the opposite finger or toe from yours. And they're always 10 days apart in the count. So today is the 9th day of 20, and Blue Storm is the 19th day of 20. So that's another way you can figure it out. I'm just telling you that because I feel I feel the opposition, meaning today I the Blue Storm am balancing and challenging. I'm opposite. And the opposition can be like, two halves of a whole, or opposition can feel like pushback or being opposite, like not the energy that I want to deal with today. So I apologize. I was like, should I podcast when I'm opposite? And I just had to, because it's such an opposite day for me, even though it's early on, that what I desperately need is to talk about that. But a red moon day, the one that we're in, and it's just going to help you, I think, if I talk about red moon, to understand the tribe as you pass through it every 20 days. And I'm talking about it because it's red resonant moon, which means 20 days from now, the next time it's a red moon day, we'll be starting the red moon wave spell. Every resonant day in the Zolkin is a precursor, kind of mirage of something that will become real. And it's always 20 days until that happens. So just getting to know, getting acquainted with red moon right now, I would explain to you that it is about being in flow. It's how water seeks its balance. Water seeks its balance by flowing in, rivulets and rivers downhill, with gravity until it finally pools in the great oceans. But water also seeks its balance by evaporating and turning into a rain cloud and returning to the earth as a rainfall and puddling and filling creeks and rivers and so on. So it's moving toward the ocean, but it's also this cycle of it changing its form. Like it can be snow and frozen. It can be aerated by tremendous amounts of wind, and that's another evaporative moment, heat and wind. So I think of red moon as just teaching us about cycles, and that we can't use our will against red moon because it's about flow and cyclical flow, and that's sort of preordained by nature, and that we can't impose like a human egotistical version of how we want a red moon day or red moon wave spell to be. But there is such a blessing, it's such a spiritual truth to chase that and be released into flow. Yoga is a perfect example of like a red moon vibe, and I think yoga is a great portrayal of what it feels like to open our body's meridians and sinew, like truly our muscles, our musculature getting stretched and made pliable and open. You can feel the flow in your body so much more effectively or powerfully. And so a red moon day is wonderful for us not being able to control it, because once we stop controlling and we're in a flow, we feel like passengers, and that's really relaxing and enlightening. And then just to say that a resonant day, in addition to being a precursor for a future wave spell, is described as like a really intuitive day, that when you are resonant, you're opening your body to be like a channel, exactly that. You're opening up your body to be resonant. So like a guitar has a hollow body, so the sound can resonate within it. And we have hollow bodies and we resonate with sound, but also light vibrations or frequencies, energies. I mean, I'm obsessed with, it's not a feeling, it's an energy state. You know, if you feel sad, of course, that's a great adjective, reacting to something that, you know, stirs your heart or, you know, increases stress release in your body, so you cry. But I love thinking of sadness as like just an energy vibration that has entered your space. And that like a high vibration is elation and a low vibration is depression. Thick, weighty vibration. So anyway, I think that resonant days happen, you know, within the 13 days we get to experiment with each of these like states of mind or parts of a process. And the resonant one is about opening ourselves wide. Like we don't even have to choose. It's an unconscious response to the day. Like I am wide open. And when I'm wide open, things get in. And I don't think a resonant day is going to be like a bunch of dark entities coming into us. Like I'm wide open and I got filled up with toxins. Much more it's about I'm wide open. And that's what it takes sometimes for the influence of enlightenment to enter my space and being. So it's a gift. It's a lucky gift to be in the resonant tone. They're all gifts. They're all wonderful in their own way, and they all have challenges. I think a resonant challenge might be better described from some of the resonant people that I know, that they're just not very here, and that maybe they lack a certain drive or capacity to solidify their lives because they're acting as channels, and they don't have to have like a job as a psychic to be that. They move through the world pretty intuitive. I called my business, or whatever this is, Resonant Truth, because I knew someone early on who was a white resonant wind. I knew him intimately. And he taught me all about how your everyman can be one of the most oriented to channeling, and not like a prophet. You know, he didn't sit around saying, oh, I'm having this sense. He just moved through his jobs as a carpenter, as a horse farmer, just really clearly open on the aperture level to something greater than his own physical body or the society we live in. And that impressed me. So it became part of how I launched into the world. Okay, so this is just a deep dive, right, into Red Resonant Moon this Saturday. I think it's the 27th of April, this go round. And you can see if that relates to any experience that you have going today, or if you're listening a different day that you had. I just really like every now and then when I'm feeling frustrated with misdirection in my life or confusion, to just be like, okay, what is today? I don't even have to talk about the wave spell that's 13 days. I give up on what Blue Night is, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And I come back to the day, today. And especially because it's my challenge day or my antipode day, I really wanted to make an effort. Let me explain this. Like I have a beautiful attic studio. It's nice and dark wood. It's a very bright spring day. And I am reclusive here. I'm hiding out, talking onto the internet through the camera lens, because there's just a way for me to experience my opposite day as going delicately, and being really aware that I am the opposite of the day, so that when I am socially awkward today, it's often because I'm like, people really consider this almost like not where they're at. So it's not just when it's your opposite day that you feel the day opposes and balances and challenges you, that you're just kind of like a clunky being as you try to participate in society or relationships. I mean, they are society, our personal relationships, but just like, okay. And I think that that is a beautiful space, again, of negative egotism to hold, where you're just like, well, I'm not really welcome today. I'm sort of energetically perceived as intrusive and extreme. So, you know what? I'm going to stay in my attic. I mean, I'm not locked up here, but it's kind of like a relief to be in a controlled environment where we can talk about spirituality really plainly instead of not. So let me go back to Blue Night just to kind of finish up and get you launched into the next few days or even this whole week, if this is the only way you tune into my work. Blue Night is about dreaming, and dreams are really abundant and interesting and accentuated right now and should be welcomed. I mean, I feel that. I love dreaming. I love dreaming. I have horrifying dreams sometimes, but mostly I'm just like so spellbound. And I'm hoping that that's like an insight into, I mean, it's such a dumbing down of history, but basically to be like, I mean, dreams were like the streaming services of another era, so that people could wake up really excited about what they dreamed, the way that I got really excited about a few HBO shows in the last few years. Just like, what? That's so crazy and amazing and creative. And I still feel that about dreams. And I think I've fought a little for that appreciation. Like, I really want to notice that 1/3 of my life is potentially a dream adventure, and that is bonus. I love it. So this is a time when we are maybe gratified by our dreams, gratified that we have them, grateful. And then Blue Night is some teaching on abundance. And I'm having a complex relationship to that because I do feel abundant. Abundant in this moment, as we're describing and agreeing on it, is kind of related to financial ease or having enough. And that word that we invented, havingness is high. I feel pretty poor. And I live in a very rich area of California. And so I feel like, I don't feel matched with that, but I just notice that I have enough. And there is an appetite in this wave spell to cultivate the right livelihood and activities that would allow us to earn more. Like, that's what I'm observing. Just like, well, I want to be in a place where I'm increasing a certain amount of my, equality. The culture's asks that we have material and kind of pride of ownership or pride of earning, and not excessive pride, but just like, yes, I earned money today and I can pay my bills. Like, I think Blue Night is directing us where we can arrive there. Like, we're being shown career change, maybe not drastic, but just invitations. Like, this might increase my income. This might decrease my spending. Or alternately, like, we feel like we can spend a little bit right now and we're loading up on a few material items, which is, fun. It's fun if you don't go crazy, I guess. But in any case, there's a sense of being able to afford things, but also being able to earn and hold our own in this society that really has fixation on that. Some of the wave spells and day signs just fit better with American or Western civilization than others. And Blue Night, to me, is aberrant because I don't think we care that much about dreams or intuition, really, as a culture. So you can kind of be ancient in paying attention to your dreams, and then you can fit right into society by noticing, like, what? I'm going to try to make some money, or I am making some money, or I'm being gifted like manna from heaven. I don't know. I just dropped into my lap, like all of those things. My daughter's a tattoo artist, and when tax returns come in, her business booms for a while, and that's happening now. So that's like manna from heaven when you get a kickback from the government. So, a reminder, if you made it through the podcast on video here with my talking head, great, because I don't know if I can bring anything except an ultimately balancing dialectic. I just appreciate that it's a red moon day, and so the frequency of communication is in flow and has kind of a mellow, again, like it's not anti-gravitational. I'm going to surge. It's all, I'm just going downhill. And I really enjoy being able to talk from that space. It's less pushy. So I'll see you next time. I'm Lisa Starr. I am another yourself. And in Mayan, we say, in Lakesh.